tonight, UT students, faculty, and staff remembered. This year, 215 passed away.
So long as we live, they too shall live.
A somber ceremony to end a week filled with grief.
Also, K2 or spice, you've probably heard of them. Synthetic drugs that can be life-damaging and deadly.
About 5 drugged out people, whatever, they've been zombies for the last couple hours.
It's reaching so many in our community, especially our kids. We expose why some say the state isn't doing enough about the problem.
Today's ceremony is a reminder not just of the tragedy of this week, but of the loss that we have felt over the past year, when 215 beloved students, faculty, and staff and friends have left us far too soon.
For 28 years, the University of Texas has set aside this day to remember the contributions of all of those who died while working at or attending the university. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on this Friday night. I'm Mike Rush.
And I'm Quita Culpepper. Over the past 2 years, on-campus violence has added 2 students' names to the list of lost Longhorns.
Harrison Irwin Brown.
Days like this remind us this is more than a university. It's a family, and the losses are real.
But after a week of mourning, tonight a celebration of the life of Harrison Brown, the UT student killed on campus Monday. That's where the Nightbeat's Chris Betts joined us live. Chris, a powerful performance tonight by the group Harrison was part of.
Absolutely, Mike. And you know, Harrison Brown should have been here on campus this evening performing with that a cappella group, the Ransom Notes. He joined at the beginning of the semester, and this would have been his first show. But since he can't be here anymore, the group tonight sang in honor of him and, as you mentioned, to celebrate his life.
We'd like to take this opportunity to celebrate Harrison's life.
She had posted that it was going to be honoring Harrison, so we wanted to come out and support her and him.
You know we need it. That's why we need it.
Proud to be able to honor him and something he was passionate about.
I'm looking for more, somewhere I can feel safe.
For them to tie in honoring Harrison, I think is really cool and really touching.
Because I know that you'll make everything alright, and I know that you'll take good care of your child.
You know, it's obviously rough on all the students, but it's nice to know that they can come together to perform in such a tragic time.
I'm gonna make sure that they go where they can't go. If they don't want to ride, I'm gonna still give them raincoats. Know what God said when He made it for His rainbow? Don't let the end of your life.
To be able to honor him, especially during his show, is just like, it just shows how unified those Longhorns can be.
Because they want to skip down your waist like what these You cannot mess with a lie. Look at the channel from 79.
Kind of still like remember him and celebrate him and make it not as much of a sad thing, but more of like a celebration.
This is everything.
Faith, more, safe, war.
Now, all of the proceeds from tonight's show are going directly to Harrison Brown's family. And this event, not the only thing helping the Browns out this weekend. I want to send it over to my colleague, Tina Shively. And Tina, I understand a new restaurant here in Austin making their pizza just a little bit more enticing.
Her restaurant wasn't even open on Monday when Harrison Brown passed away, but the owner of Pizza Press, Lisa Hilo, knew she had to do something to help out. Hilo reached out to the founder of the GoFundMe page set up for Brown's family. He asked if Hilo could host family and close friends at the shop on 26th and Guadalupe after Wednesday night's vigil. Dozens showed up, and Hilo's staff delivered dozens of pizzas to Brown's fraternity brothers as well. The next day, the grand opening of the newspaper-themed restaurant, The line was out the door, and Hilo gave away free pizza to people who gave donations.
I love this community. I love it, and these students are what make Austin great. They really are. This is the heartbeat of the city of Austin, this university and this community, and I want to give back any way that I can.
And the Pizza Press continues to do so. All of the proceeds raised through Sunday will be donated to Brown's family. Hilo's goal is to raise $3,000 for the Harrison Brown Memorial Fund between now and Sunday. Reporting on West Campus, Tina Shively, KVUE News Nightbeat.
Police say he accidentally stabbed himself while playing with a knife, then claimed he was a victim of a UT stabbing on Monday. Now, the UT student, Lewis Yarborough, has been charged for filing a false report. Police say Yarborough took himself to the hospital, and when he realized how high the medical bills might be, he lied, telling the police someone else stabbed him. He later admitted making up that story. We just got in new mugshots of the North Texas police officer who turned himself in tonight after he was charged with the murder of a teenager. Officer Roy Oliver of Balk Springs, Texas, fired shots into a car full of teenagers leaving a party Saturday night. Unarmed 15-year-old Jordan Edwards was hit and killed. Oliver originally claimed the car was backing up aggressively. The department fired him Tuesday, saying the car was driving away when he shot.
We are less than 4 weeks away from the end of the 85th legislative session, and today lawmakers were busy with more than 160 bills and resolutions set to be voted on. A few of the highlights: the House tentatively passed a bill aimed at eliminating the state's massive rape kit backlog by creating a grant fund. Texans will be able to donate to the fund when they renew their vehicle registration. And a possible change at the ballot box: House Bill 25 hopes to eliminate straight party ticket voting. Texas is one of 9 states in the U.S. that still has it. Representatives say voters should be educated on who they're electing. And HB 2068 tentatively passed, getting rid of the state's driver responsibility program. Instead of a repeat offender receiving a ticket and paying a fine for 3 years, they will now just double the cost of the ticket. All of those bills will need one more vote before heading to the Senate.
It's hard to forget this video from earlier this week. Bystanders jumped into action to rescue a toddler and infant trapped inside a rolled-over pickup stuck in floodwater. Today, the Ogletree family invited the people who saved their daughter and son for a barbecue in the park. The family wanted to give them a chance to see the children alive and well. As the reunion got started, tears and hugs quickly followed.
Your kids.
Well, I don't know how the hell y'all did it, man.
I don't either. I grabbed a golf club out of my truck and started beating on windows, and then it was like 3 minutes later a door unlocked.
Yeah, it's a debt that'll never be repaid. I mean, there's no words for it. It's difficult. It's difficult to see everybody here that helped us that day.
That was just an amazing story. A lot of emotion still running high after that experience there.
I can only imagine what they're feeling.
And luckily the kids are doing okay. Well, coming up, synthetic cannabinoids like K2 or Spice, they're not marijuana, they are toxic, and our teens are using them more often.
We expose why some say the state isn't doing enough about this problem and how this impacts our kids. Sin City, Austin's synthetic drug epidemic, is next.
And an Ozone Action Day posted for Saturday, meaning that we'll have reduced air quality, unhealthy for sensitive groups. If you can share a ride, use a bike or walk tomorrow, conserve energy, all great tips to reduce the ozone pollution that will be over Austin. We'll talk about a warmer weekend ahead coming up. What a great way to kick off the weekend. It's gorgeous out there this evening. 60, cooler at the airport, 70 in the city at Camp Mabry. Highs running just above average in the mid-80s. Upper 80s, though, for the weekend, plus some small rain chances for next week. Full forecast is coming up.
About 5 drugged out people. They've been zombies for the last couple hours.
It's important to make the public aware of what's going on in their city.
He's like passing out, shooting up water and screaming.
You hear it called synthetic marijuana. It's nothing like marijuana. We won't even use that term anymore tonight. This is poison. It can make a person violent, sick, or kill them. And if you think it's only a downtown homeless problem, you're wrong. If you think it's not in your neighborhood, you're wrong. And if you think your teens don't know about it, you're wrong. Synthetic drugs are part of schoolyard discussions, and at least one of your kids' classmates has tried it. And the state of Texas doesn't understand the problem.
Football may be his sport of choice, but basketball was what helped Luis Molina get his life back.
I was really just tired of living the life, depending on the substance.
That substance was synthetic drugs, often sold as K2 or Spice. It's the drugs you hear about when rescue efforts from overdoses shut down city streets.
Need another unit at 7th and Dutchess.
We're responding to these calls not as just ODs, which would be a little bit simpler, but it could present as a seizure, it could present as abdominal pain, it could present as altered mentation, it could be an assault.
These calls impact you.
They're all over the county.
A person, man, woman, teen, adult, rich, poor.
Possible K2 patient. Do you want him code 1 or code 3?
Code 3.
Synthetic drugs are an Austin epidemic.
Backup demand 1, party 2 overdose, 8th and Natchez.
We found how it can begin at your home.
June the 1st. Yeah, because it was my birthday when I tried it.
Molina is like any other 17-year-old. Wants to fit in, be liked.
At first, I didn't know what it was.
At 14, he wanted to be accepted by his older friends.
I thought it was just marijuana.
It wasn't marijuana. The chemicals soaked around herbs gave a high, easy to find, cheap to buy.
My grades went on a really down slope.
Ahead of his class in 7th grade to become expelled from 4 schools. And at 15,
almost running over a cop.
On synthetic?
Yes, I had actually, when he put the lights on, I had actually just turned on the blunt.
Molina isn't alone. His story can be found in any Austin district.
They're toxic exposures.
These are confirmed synthetic drug calls taken from Austin Travis County EMS last year. They started tracking when they noticed their resources getting strained. It impacts all emergency care.
So we kind of get ready for a patient who's pretty much out of control.
Synthetic use can turn a person violent.
We have one patient here, K2, right?
We have entire rooms that are basically completely stripped down except for a stretcher, the TVs in the ceiling.
More hospital ER staff must attend to one person. Doctors and nurses' safety are at risk, their time consumed, which means your trip to the ER is impacted.
It's very frustrating.
What's more frustrating, he says, is it's not tracked at the state level. That stripped room, the combative patient, extra calls for paramedics. Hospitals don't often test for synthetics because the results take longer than the recovery. The patient is out by the time it comes back.
Our standard toxicologic screen will not pick it up.
None of it alerts the state about a problem with synthetic drugs.
The state of Texas recorded 296 incidents for the entire state last year. And if you look at their data for Travis County, they recorded 94. But these numbers are way off.
So that's why Austin Travis County EMS started tracking for their own records.
First and foremost is a responsibility to the community.
Calls in our area reach into the hundreds every month. In December, it spiked to 339 calls for help. Then in March, it spiked again. These are conservative numbers, only confirmed when someone admits to the drug use.
I mean, we probably have a half dozen cases here on any Friday, Saturday night. The other trauma centers see the same number, and that's just in Austin area alone.
As soon as we wrapped up that interview, another patient on synthetic came in. That patient was combative.
But I see it more as a substitute when they can't get their drug of choice.
At Austin Recovery, a rehab house, counselors see people who don't always call 911. They tell us the problem with the data is a problem for solutions.
Do you think if we had better data, more accurate data, we would be able to combat it in a more aggressive way?
We would.
This is something that does strike at the heart of our children. If this was any other kind of epidemic, this would be on the map and in everybody's talking points.
Luis beat his addiction last year.
If it wasn't for this place, Phoenix House, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
He's planning to go to college, then grad school, and come back to counsel others.
You can learn more about how Molina beat his addiction online. We've profiled the Phoenix House Therapy. They're just one of several rehab facilities in Austin. But the long-term solution has to be with our laws, and this is a polarizing subject. So chat with us on social media, email us, or pick up the phone and call us. We need to end this epidemic together. For the KVUE Defenders, Erica Proffer, KVUE News.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey.
Let's do it.
Hey. Look at the
Welcome back, everybody.
That time it was mine.
Mike, please read.
No,
please say something.
You know, it's funny because the last time we did that, it was my fault. I read
this time
her
it's
line.
my fault.
This time it's hers, so I feel a little bit better about it than just having to me.
We share words.
So now, let's just read it together here.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Welcome back.
We're expecting a cool night tonight.
But Albert, you're forecasting.
I think I just heard everyone just changing the channel just now. That's what I just heard. Let's talk about the forecast. We've got a cool one tonight as we fall into the 50s pretty much everywhere. Not as cool as last night, but we'll be clear and 57 degrees by morning here in Austin. Dry air, sunshine, and another warm day. As a matter of fact, a couple of degrees warmer than today, up to 87 degrees tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, looks spectacular with a light southeast wind. The wind will remain light thanks to high pressure. We'll look for those highs to be in the upper 80s. Tons of sunshine. A few more clouds by Sunday and a little bit more wind off the Gulf of Mexico as that high pressure continues to drift off towards the east. That moisture will start to pile up Sunday night into Monday. An increased cloud cover on Monday will trim down the highs at least a little bit, but although it will be a couple of degrees cooler in the low 80s on Monday, it will be significantly more on the muggy side, and that humidity will lead to at least some low-end isolated chances of rainfall Tuesday through Thursday of next week. But great tonight. Great way to kick off the weekend. Clear skies, 57 degrees in the city. A light northeast wind now, shifting more out of the south by morning as that ridge of high pressure skirts across the state of Texas. Now, a combination of clear skies and light winds will allow for an elevated amount of pollution. Ozone Action Day in place for Saturday, 87 degrees and sunshine in the afternoon. Mid to upper 80s here in the metro, 86 at Cedar Creek and Pflugerville, 85 at Lakeway and also in Dripping Springs. And mid to upper 80s also expected across the area, 85 in LaGrange, 86 in Luling, about 84 tomorrow in Blanco. Under the microscope, low amounts of pollen tomorrow, both grass and pecan pollen. Mold still on the increase, and you'll notice those molds climbing over the next 5 days with extra moisture around. So by, Sunday night, Monday, those molds will probably return back in the high count. Allergy forecast found every day in the Austin American-Statesman. Okay, so you know that show here on ABC, The Bachelorette? This is the Bachelorette Turkey edition. There are the two bachelors dueling, and there's a Bachelorette turkey to the left side of the screen. All right. No offense to ABC, but I'd rather watch that show with turkeys. 60s in the Concho Valley, 70s in Dallas, 60s down along South Texas. We got a great weekend. Cool mornings, but warm to even hot afternoons. Tomorrow looks great sunshine. The only issue, elevated amounts of pollution. So that's why that Ozone Action Day is in place. Breezy here on Sunday, up to 88 in the afternoon. Increased cloud cover. Not as hot Monday, but overall a lot more humid. And there's a check of those isolated showers. No big storm systems around, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, about a 20% chance of rain.
The Bachelorette Turkey Edition coming this fall on ABC.
You know what? Don't say that too loud. I think the ABC
I was going to say, someone's writing
like
that down.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Checks in the mail.
That's right. Hey, Mike.
Let's talk C.J. Wilson. I've been thinking about him
Interesting
all night.
story. Have you really?
Yes, I have.
Overachiever, I think.
Well, dual sport athlete. I guess that's what you could call him. What a move by the former Rangers pitcher. He goes from baseball to the racing track. Yeah, you're going to love this story when KVUE returns.